before we move on, talking about the James Madison game, can you give us your final thoughts on the Bowling Green game from last weekend?
Yeah, after watching it, I thought our guys competed extremely hard. The points that were taken off the board were devastating. As you're trying to gain momentum when you're in a little rut. We had opportunities to take the lead several times, and the penalties, calling those big plays back, were hard to deal with. And we just got to clean some things up. We've turned the ball over, if you count the fourth down stop, 5 times. And you can't beat anybody that's in college football turning the ball over 5 times. And we've got to do a better job there of taking care of the ball and being able to finish some of these drives off. But I thought our defense rebounded from the week before and played well and kept us in the football game. But we got to be able to take advantage of the opportunities we get right now as we're struggling a little bit. And so just really overall disappointed and just putting the ball on the ground and not being able to get the momentum. But, you move forward.
Coach asked you about it a little bit Saturday after the game, but how do you think the guys have responded these last 48 hours or so?
I think they've been toughened by the setbacks that we've had the last couple of weeks. They know we're not as bad as what our play has shown. I think they've practiced well. The mindset's been well. They know they've got to improve, and so they've stayed together, and are committed to getting us out of the rut, And so I think we've got some solid leadership on that side of the ball that want to do things the right way and help us perform at a good level. And so I'm confident we'll get there.
With the penalties and some of the run struggles and pass block struggles, it feels like a lot of the issues in the offense kind of stem from the line. Are you in a situation? I saw you played the same 5 guys the whole game last game. Are you in a situation where you want to get looks for some different guys? Are you still set on those 5? What's the situation?
Well, that was those are the 5 that we felt like gave us the best chance to win. And the way that maybe we're performing, and so our best players need to play the best, and they're not quite doing that right now. And so you're trying to find the best 5 up there, and we felt like those are the best 5 that gives us the chance, with the way our guys are playing currently, and the challenging thing is we like the first touchdown. We blocked the guy like crazy. The DN's done, and we just throw him down. And when you throw a guy down, they're gonna call holding. That's what it was. We get a huge play in the I think it's the third quarter. We're down 13-7. We get down plus 40. They call holding on our guy, and he just blocks him down the field. But the referee called it. And so some of those, you wish that those guys would just do what they're coached to do more consistently. They're fighting. They're trying to do well. But we got to play better there. We have to, and we've not been able to. We've had spurts of running the football. We get some big plays, and then it seems like there's a penalty down the field, like a receiver just has his hands outside instead of inside. So little detailed things are hurting us from having some explosive plays. And if you're going to score points, you got to have explosive plays. And so I think it's an overall offense. Everybody's got to do their job. We had chances in a lot of ways if people just did their job to put more points on the board. So, but it starts up front. We got to be better there.
What added emphasis is there on cleaning those things up, knowing that sometimes calls may go against you in a game, and when there's self-inflicted mistakes on top of that, that's really hard to overcome.
It is, and we got to be better at overcoming them. I think that's if you go back and look, anytime that we've had some type of penalty that's taken away a big play, we've ended up either missing a kick or not scoring at all. So over the last 2 weeks, we've had 21 points taken off the board. And then we missed 2 field goals that were makeable field goals. That's 27 points. How much did we get beat by the last 2 weeks?
Less than that combined.
20, yeah. So if you just think about those things, and so there's an emphasis each week. We're gonna do something a little different this week to make sure that that we're harping on those things that are keeping us from having a chance to be successful. But at the end of the day, there's got to be a personal pride as well. Like, hey, I can't do this to our team. I got to make sure that I'm not being lazy in practice, or I'm not being lazy in a game. Anytime you get penalties, it's because you stop moving your feet in football. Football's all about moving your feet. And anytime that we've gotten a penalty, it's because we've stopped moving our feet And when you move your feet, you reach and you grab and you do things. And so those are things that we've got to do a better job of. And it's not because they're trying not to make a mistake. You know, they're fighting, they're spending extra time, but we got to clean those things up because easily we could be where we'd like to be, you know, if we don't have those things. But we're going through them right now, and that's part of our journey right now to try to figure it out.
You mentioned personal pride. Then how much personal pride does this team have? Where are they in that?
Oh, I think they have a lot. They want to do well, you know, and I think there's a frustration with that. There's a disappointment because they've put a lot of time into it. They want to represent themselves. They want to represent this university in a high manner, and they know that we're not doing that to the level that we're capable of. They know they're better than what we've shown, and I think that's where it's one thing if you go out and you play well and somebody beats you, we can live with that all day long. You know, we can live with that. But when you know you've left things on the table, so to speak, and beat yourself in certain ways, that's where the frustration happens. And our guys are frustrated on that because it's something they can see visibly. Know, man, if I'd have just done this happens. You know, and so there's a lot of personal pride.
What do you do with the field goal kicking game at this point, as far as this week in practice? Is it opened up again, or how do you create some of those game?
You know, we've got to kick it down the middle of the field. I learned a rule on that I didn't know that if the ball does not go over the inside of the uprights, it's not good. It went directly over the uprights. This is what the official told me, and it's no good if it goes directly over the uprights. Did y'all know that? I didn't know that. And so it has to go completely over the inside of the uprights. And so that's how close when you're struggling a little bit. It's a game of inches, right? And so we got to make our kicks. You know, I mean, at some point you can't just keep having open competition. Somebody's got to make their kicks. You know, and it's not like they're trying to miss them, but what happens is you miss hit one here or there, miss that, and your confidence gets their confidence gets shaken a little bit, and they got to believe in themselves. We had a really good competition in fall, and we made a lot of kicks during fall camp, and we kicked one of our young men kicked 45 kicks, made 42 of 45. I don't know the percentage of that, but it's got to be close to 90-something%. Did a really nice job. He's missed a couple, and now he's he's lost his confidence a little bit. We got to do a good job of getting their confidence back. But we got to make them too. Some of them have been easy kicks. You know, it's one thing you kick a 40-something yarder. Okay, well when you're making 25 and 30s, we got to make those. And so it's just one of those things that's going against us for whatever reason. And so those guys will work hard to get it back. You know, and they do. They kick every day to make sure they can go and score points for us because they know how important it is. And so. Right now, I would tell you we'd try Braden back out there again, and let him have his opportunity.
Just 3 touches, I think it was, for Juju Gray. Was that health related, or is there something else going on?
He got banged up on the opening kickoff, and so some of the things that we had for him, he hurt his hand, and so you didn't know could he do the things early on. Got back in there, and then just he needs to play better. You know, he needs to play better. And so we got to make sure that, as I said, our best players played it up to standard. And there's some things that he didn't do that he needed to, and that limited his reps.
Looking at Saturday, you got JMU coming up, probably one of the favorites in the Sun Belt. What are some things that you've seen from them under Coach Chesney this last year and a half?
They're really talented. They've got an older team. You know, they've got some, especially defense. They've got an older team. They've got some guys that been there in the program for a while. They're very physical, and they're very aggressive. You know, and they're a tough team. Most talented team that we've played, probably. You know, in my time here. With the exception of the Fiesta Bowl, they've just in all phases. I think they got good skill. They're big up front. They're physical group. The quarterback, they play both. Their quarterbacks are both. They're different in what they do, but they're both talented guys. But I think defensively, between their front seven and in their secondary, they're aggressive and they cause a lot of havoc. And so it's going to be a big challenge there. One, to move the ball, but just the things that we've been doing to ourselves, taking care of the ball. We got to do a great job of taking care of the ball if we're going to have any chance to win. I think they've done a good job.
The way that they rotate the quarterbacks, I mean, it's seemingly like just play to play. I mean, have you seen that before, and how difficult is it to prepare for that?
Yeah, I don't know if we've seen it. I mean, we've seen some people where they've played different quarterbacks, but I don't know, like basically every snap. And so, typically with the way they've done the young man, the one that comes in there, he's a runner most of the time. The other one, they're a little bit of mix, and so it does make it challenging because then eventually you got to figure out they're going to have both of them out there at some point. So you got to start thinking about that as well. They're going to put one in there and the other one, and so there's a lot of different things that you could do with that. And so you got to just make. You don't necessarily have two different game plans by any means, but you have to know, okay, who's in, what do they like to do, what are their tendencies there, and then you got to basically call your calls to fit which quarterback's in and the other one's in. You got to make sure that you're calling things that fit that, and so it does make it challenging from a standpoint of just making sure you know who's in and what they like to do when they're in.
What are the importance of this week and next week in-state games? I know it used to be recruiting, and recruiting's changed now.
Yeah.
With the portal.
Doesn't matter as much. I mean, because it's all crazy now.
Yeah, but still, there is an importance to these with in-state and all.
Oh, they're hugely important. I mean, I think anytime, because of our conference and all of our teams spread around, these are the next 2 weeks are teams that you consider rivalry teams because they're relatively close to you. They're the closest teams to you, and so I think it's huge from an in-state just to get recognition because I do think it still does matter. High school kids, no one, we're all recruiting the state of Virginia. Two, just from a alumni and a fan base, these are teams that we've played in the past that they recognize and you want to win. So I think that's huge from that standpoint. Most importantly, we just need to win. We need to win. I mean, it doesn't matter who's out there, and so we need to win. And they're obviously a really, really good team, and that could give us some confidence that we need to have as we're continuing to find our way, so to speak. But I think it's an important game. It's awesome that we created a trophy. I think that's exciting to be able to play. I think we're 95 miles apart. And the last time we played 2014 doesn't make a lot of sense if you think about it. And so I know we're playing a lot over the next, 2040?
Yeah.
So that's 15 years. So who knows if any of us will be here in 15 years. But I think that's great that we've established that, and you're trying to establish a rivalry with a school that's in state that's up the road. That's a big deal, and hopefully we can, as we start this battle of the Blue Ridge off, hopefully we can get a good victory, and hopefully it propels us to some better things. I think that's most importantly what we need to do is we need to go out and play well. That's what I care about. Like, we need to go play well. We've not really played well, and that's what the frustrating thing is. The head coach, we've not really played well. We're not played together. When the offense is clicking, the defense maybe isn't done. When the defense has played well, offensively, we've not done a good job. So I care about that most importantly, no matter who we're playing. Is we got to just go play our type of football and then let the cards fall as they may.
Time for one more.
It's a little bit like Jacksonville State and their run game. You mentioned Sluka's a guy who gets in their quarterback, but Petaway and Knight 8 yards per carry. So did you see enough? You said the defense bounced back last week. Have you seen enough to feel good about protecting their?
Yeah, I thought we gang tackled better, right? And I think that was our issue versus J State is we assumed somebody was going to get somebody down and it didn't happen. And so I thought we had more people around the football. We're going to have to do that this week because you mentioned the running backs are really good, and then the quarterback is a big old guy. He can run and he's a physical kid, and it's going to take more than one person to get him down when he gets going. So our defense is going to have to do a fantastic job of getting all 11 hats around the ball and not assuming. We did a way better job of that last week. Way better job, we got to continue that. That's just got to be who we are, no matter who we're playing. But if we don't have 11 hats around the ball, then they're going to create big plays.